Jeffrey Epstein has leaked emails of people going out and doing hunts.
What?
Hunting for pleasure.
Oh.
Hunting them like game.
The heck?
There was actually a woman that's leaking the information of what she said was a Rothschild's hunting trip, right? And specifically certain types of people too, which makes it even more disturbing. This is to Epstein, going to mean Lana's party now to hunt. Why would you be going to a party to hunt? Snipe hunt is over. Moon cricket in a field bag. And then the bottom is so messed up. Look, guess what? Their words.
No.
Yeah. That's what they're saying in the email. There's speculation they would take a whole bunch of throw them into like a forest on a deserted area enclosed where they can't escape, and they would hunt them like game. And what's even more crazy is, what if this was the first step before consumption?
It makes sense.
There's no exact proof yet where these locations were.
Okay.
And I don't think necessarily was the island.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thrilling hunt from Ariane de Rothschild. Amazing old male. Amazing hunt.
What the?
She's talking about who she got.
Bonjour, how are you?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French.
There is a huge conspiracy theory about beloved Hollywood actor Jim Carrey right now because people are saying he's acting and looking very different. Did the Illuminati finally get their loudest whistleblower and clone him, thus silencing him? This is like two conspiracy theories in one, so here's everything you need to know.
I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower.
So yesterday, 64-year-old Jim Carrey received a Caesar Award in Paris, which is like a French Oscar. And he was just suspiciously acting out of character for the iconic Jim Carrey personality. And longtime fans also noticed he looked younger or very different. And for a lot of actors in Hollywood, that's the norm. He's 64. I support people getting work done. But a lot of conspiracy theorists who are really just diehard fans say normally Jim Carrey would never do this. His whole brand is drastically changing his facial expressions and melding his face into whatever he needs to do for his role. It's just the last person you would ever expect to do that. But what's really freaking people out and driving home the conspiracy theory is that his eyes are a completely different color now. They are green, but they used to be very obviously brown. Is it him? Is someone new under the mask? And Jim Carrey is infamous for his whole career long time giving very powerful speeches against government corruption, against capitalism, against those in power.
And something strange is happening with Jim Carrey. Recently, he popped up in Paris, and people instantly noticed he looked different. Not just a little different either. Fans online started saying something felt off the second the footage started spreading everywhere. Once that video hit social media, things went wild. Comment sections blew up fast. People weren't even talking about the award he received. Instead, one crazy question kept showing up again and again. What actually happened to Jim Carrey? Some people online started pushing a wild theory. They were saying that the person seen in Paris didn't look like the same Jim Carrey they remembered. A few even claimed it might be a clone, which made the conversation spiral even more. Then with Katt Williams recently talking about so-called Hollywood secrets, some fans started connecting the dots and saying this proves something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Jim showed up at the 51st Caesar Awards to accept an honorary award for his lifetime achievements in movies. That's a huge honor. He even surprised the crowd by speaking part of his speech in French. But online, almost nobody focused on the speech. People were locked in on him instead. The way he looked, the way he talked, even the way he moved. Viewers kept saying something about it felt strange. Some viewers said Jim didn't seem like himself at all. Others claimed he looked completely different the second they saw the clips. And then a few people online took it even further, saying he might have been replaced. Yep, the word clone suddenly started trending everywhere. When red carpet videos started spreading online, fans went full detective mode. They began lining up the new footage next to older interviews and appearances. People zoomed in on every little detail. Some pointed at his eyes, claiming they looked more blue than brown this time. Then the comparisons kept rolling in. A bunch of users said his jawline didn't look the same. Others claimed his teeth looked different. Some even said his voice sounded softer and slower than before. One person posted, "There's no way in hell that was Jim Carrey." Another user wrote that the whole moment felt super cryptic and dark. Someone else added, "They're testing us one last time if they can get away with it." From there, the theories started getting even wilder. Some people believe the real Jim Carrey stepped away from Hollywood years ago, around 2017, and never really came back. Others claim he started speaking too openly about how fake the industry can be. That part actually connects to things Jim has said publicly before. People even brought up that famous red carpet moment where he stunned a reporter and said, "None of this is real." In that interview, he also said he doesn't believe in personalities and that we don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. That clip exploded across the internet years ago, and fans are suddenly bringing it up again. Back then, when Jim Carrey said those strange things on the red carpet, he sounded deeply philosophical.
I don't exist. So they're all characters that I've played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character, right, because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character. I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
It felt like he was speaking from another level, almost like he had pulled back the curtain on something most people never notice. At the time, reactions were mixed. Some people believed he was simply going through a spiritual phase and thinking deeply about life. Others believed something darker was behind it, saying he had seen the rough side of fame and the pressure that comes with living in Hollywood. Now jump forward to the Paris appearance. Fans noticed a totally different vibe. This version of Jim looked excited, smiling for cameras, cracking jokes, and acting like everything was perfectly normal. That sudden shift made some viewers raise their eyebrows. People online started asking, did something suddenly change? A few critics online said it felt strange to them. They questioned whether someone with such strong views could switch attitudes that quickly. Because of that, some viewers started saying it didn't feel natural. Then the internet pulled in other wild stories. Some users compared it to old celebrity clone theory discussions that pop up online from time to time. One name people mentioned was Kid Boo, who once claimed there exists a cloning facility in the US and that he himself was a clone that managed to escape that place. To be fair, there are plenty of normal explanations too. People get older, faces change with age, voices shift over time. Even lighting on a red carpet can make eye colors look different. And yes, celebrities sometimes choose cosmetic procedures, but even with those possibilities, the speculation hasn't slowed down. Supporters of the clone theory say the biggest clue isn't his face at all. They say it's the energy. They argue the old Jim was wild, loud, and totally unpredictable. The guy from The Mask and The Truman Show had a crazy spark in his eyes that people say was impossible to miss. A lot of people online are pushing a heavy theory right now. They're saying the man seen recently might not even be the same Jim Carrey from years ago. Some claim the real Jim stepped away after speaking too openly about powerful figures operating behind the scenes. One moment people keep bringing up is the tragic passing of Jim's former girlfriend years ago. The situation was heartbreaking, and it drew massive media attention at the time. Now some internet users are connecting that event to their theories, claiming it may have been meant as some kind of warning directed at him. Others online claim that behind closed doors, he may have been pressured or warned to stay quiet. None of that has been proven, but the speculation keeps spreading across social media fast. Then there's one of Jim's most talked about rants ever. In that clip, he grabbed everyone's attention while joking about strange symbols and sticking his tongue out while mocking the whole situation. He also joked about talk show hosts distracting the public from bigger issues. The way he said it sounded half serious and half like classic Jim humor. At one point, he even mentioned secret meetings in the woods, which instantly made the internet explode with theories. That clip is now going viral again because Jim Carrey has always walked a strange line between comedy and deep commentary. He says things in a funny way, but sometimes people feel like there's a hidden message underneath it. Over the years, Jim definitely changed as a person. The loud, chaotic star from Dumb and Dumber slowly turned into someone more quiet and reflective. He began talking about big ideas like ego, identity, and the illusion of fame. Still, critics often bring up past controversies too. For example, years ago, Jim and Jenny McCarthy publicly questioned vaccine schedules during television interviews, which sparked major debate across the media at the time. That moment triggered huge backlash. Headlines were everywhere, critics were loud, and debates exploded across TV and social media. After all that noise, Jim seemed to slowly step away from those topics. Some fans believe he was pressured to stay quiet after that situation. And interestingly, people online say someone else who nearly faced similar pressure was Katt Williams. His interviews and stand-up clips recently started spreading again, with fans claiming he was also calling out parts of the entertainment industry. At the same time, late-night shows kept leaning deeper into political comedy. Hosts joked about politicians, commentators mocked each other, and crowds cheered loudly for whichever side they supported. The atmosphere became more and more about picking sides and reacting emotionally. That's where some viewers say the dots connect. They believe Jim and Katt weren't targeting just one host or one political side. Instead, they were criticizing the entire system of constant distraction. The theory goes like this. People stay divided, entertained, and emotionally fired up while larger forces quietly move in the background. Is that a dramatic idea? Sure. But the concept of powerful industries shaping narratives isn't some science fiction story. It's actually something discussed often in media studies and journalism.
Today, the world was World Autism Awareness Day. You both must be encouraged by all that's happened in this subject since you literally started it.
Yeah, we've come a long way within the community. When I first had Evan diagnosed with autism, there wasn't much of anything. I had to find out about biomedical treatment on the internet after I typed in autism on Google. And out 3 years later now, there's 3 books and many thousands of children getting better because of biomedical treatment.
Jenny brought so much focus to this problem. And kind of that's why I'm here, is I want to bring as much focus as we can to this problem.
You married autism. Or, well, you're not married, so you live with autism.
When I invited Jenny into my life, I invited Evan into my life. And when I first met Evan, it was like he was on another planet. I wasn't in the room. There was no eye contact. There was no response to dialogue. There was no affection. And over time, I witnessed Jenny pull Evan through the window of unconsciousness and isolation into our world, where he is now a fully functioning person who can communicate, who can connect, and this is through biomedical treatments, GFCF diet, and the therapies that she's talking about. So I believe that autism, in my heart, is preventable
and treatable.
Fully functional. He's
completely recovered, Larry, completely recovered. And he's not the only one. There are thousands in this community that are getting better.
Why did you go so publicly? I mean, you had an autistic child. He got better. So why are you here?
I could have, hid and not said anything, and Evan would have blended into society. I made a pact with God, though. The day Evan became diagnosed with autism, I said, if you show me the way, God, and show me how to heal my boy, I will continue to teach the world how I did it. And within 1 year of that kind of conversation with God, Evan was undiagnosed from autism.
But it's still shocking to see how many people are ignoring this information.
The American Academy of Pediatrics, I begged and have sat down with and said, why are you not sitting down with our doctors and our scientists who are treating and recovering children with autism? And they refuse to this day to sit down.
I think if there was any possibility that a child was being helped, that someone would listen, someone would take a look. And the fact is, they're not even considering the information. They're not only not considering, they're discouraging it.
Now the internet is doing what it always does best, digging up old clips and analyzing every little detail. People are rewatching interviews, red carpet moments, and even behind-the-scenes footage from years ago, trying to figure out if something really changed with Jim Carrey. Some fans point out that Jim himself once talked about stepping away from Hollywood. In several interviews, he said he felt tired of the industry and wanted a quieter life focused on painting and personal projects. At one point, he even said he was pretty serious about retirement, which shocked a lot of people. Because of that, some viewers now believe the Paris appearance felt unexpected. They're asking why someone who seemed ready to leave the spotlight suddenly popped back up on a huge international stage. Others say the explanation is much simpler. Actors take breaks all the time, then return for special events or awards celebrating their careers. Receiving an honorary award at the César Awards is a massive moment for any actor, so showing up wouldn't be surprising at all. Still, the internet loves a mystery. Between resurfaced interviews, viral red carpet clips, and fans studying every expression and gesture, the debate keeps growing louder. Another thing that keeps people talking is how unpredictable Jim Carrey has always been. This is the same actor who built his entire career on wild energy, strange characters, and over-the-top performances. From Ace Ventura to The Mask, Jim made a name for himself by acting in ways nobody else would dare. Because of that, some fans think people might be overanalyzing everything. They argue Jim has always been unusual, always a little mysterious, and that's exactly what made him stand out in Hollywood in the first place. But others aren't convinced so easily. They say longtime fans can usually recognize when something feels different about a celebrity they've watched for decades. According to them, it's not just the look, it's the overall vibe that feels unfamiliar. And as more clips from Paris keep circulating online, people continue slowing them down, zooming in, and studying every frame. For some viewers, it's just another celebrity moment, but for others, the mystery only keeps getting deeper. it does feel a little suspicious to some people, especially with everything happening lately. Recently, the state of New Mexico confirmed that officials are reopening a criminal inquiry connected to Zorro Ranch, the massive property that was once owned by Jeffrey Epstein. This isn't just internet gossip or some random rumor floating around online. This was publicly announced by a state attorney general as a renewed legal review. Over the years, many serious allegations have been discussed about activities that may have taken place on that property. Because of those reports, the case has continued to draw attention and raise difficult questions about what really happened behind closed doors. Moments like this are also why some fans look back at old Jim Carrey interviews in a different way. They remember times when he spoke about powerful circles, secretive behavior in the industry, and the strange side of fame. Some people now wonder if he was trying to get people to pay closer attention. Of course, a lot of this is still speculation, and it's important to separate proven facts from internet theories. But the conversation keeps growing as new developments appear. So now the big question people are asking is simple. Do you think the Jim Carrey we saw in Paris is still the same Jim everyone remembers? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, and join the conversation. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps these deep dives coming.